Hello and welcome back to the Johnny Gets Cash channel and to the second part of my MG Freshen Up. Last time I showed you the 2003 MG ZS that I paid just £200 for. In this part I'll be giving this 20-year-old MG its first clean in a very long time, as well as inspecting the brakes and the underside of the car to find out what is lurking beneath the surface. Okay, so now that initial exterior cleanup has been done on the MG, I've brought it in and put it on the ramp just so I can have a look at the underside and the wheel arches and the bits you don't really see very easily. Mainly what I want to check for is corrosion. Also I want to check the brakes and the bearings and things while I'm here. But I'm going to have a look at all those bits and pieces now, and I'll show you what the state of play is, and I'll try and figure out what it is that I need to do to make this thing MOT-able and also future-proof for the new owner. Okay, so we've got the MG lifted now, and it's time to have a look at the underside of the car to see what we'll be dealing with. Again, I'm generally looking for corrosion and damage. So we'll start with the common bits like the inner sills. They look really, really good on this car, to be fair. I can't fault those. Now, at the bottom of the bulkhead, which is an area some of you guys in the comments mentioned, you can see we've got some corrosion I need to deal with here. Fortunately, none of it looks like it's penetrative. It doesn't look like it's gone through, but it definitely needs addressing before I send this thing for MOT. Now on the near side, you can see it has been patched in the past. Again, around the edges, a bit of light corrosion, something for me to sort out, but nothing too horrendous that I need to tackle. Obviously, it has been in the past and it has been welded, so I'm thankful for that. All I've got to do is clean it up and make sure it looks a lot better, and put some treatment on there so any kind of rust doesn't come back. Now I will have a good poke around when I do these and make sure that nothing is penetrative. If it is, it's not the end of the world, I'll patch it, but I don't think it's going to come to that. Moving backwards, as I said, the inner sills are good. The rest of the floor pans look pretty good. Bottom of the fuel tank, a little bit corroded. Really, it's things like these rear arms and things, they've all got surface corrosion on them. Now, it all comes back to what I said before. How far am I going to go with this car? Am I going to try and make it a concours example? No, I'm not. Really what I'm going to do is make sure that it'll go through an MOT and it is safe. And I want it to stay MOT-able for multiple years to come. I don't want whoever buys this car to have any worries with it. So, whereas I'm not going to go mad and try and make this a brand new example, replacing arms and getting things powder coated and whatnot, I'm going to clean everything up and put some treatment on there. It's that value of car where it's not worth me doing loads and loads and loads to it, but at the same time it warrants a bit of work to keep it on the road and to keep it in good condition for the new owner. So basically, gonna have a bit of a clean up of everything, sort those brakes out, check that there is no welding needed. If there is, do that, and then it should be good on the underside. I've looked at the last time this car had an MOT and it had advisories on the ferrules on the brake lines had some surface corrosion, and there was one on a tyre which has since been changed by the look of it. So according to the last MOT advisories, I don't have too much to look at, but obviously I'll go through everything anyway. I've already mentioned that I want to sort out the brakes on this car. Obviously it's been sitting for a long time unused. You can see the state of the brakes, they're a little bit crusty. Now here on the near side, everything seems to be fine. Things do turn, there's no brake binding as such. General condition of the arch and the bits and pieces in there, it's kind of what you'd expect. There's a bit of surface corrosion on everything. Nothing is too horrendous. There's nothing that looks to be beyond the pale. And as I say, those brakes, they are free still, which is something at least. But on the offside, state of play is kind of the same with all the surface corrosion and bits and pieces, but the brakes are pretty well seized on both front and rear on this offside. Now, the plan here is to refresh the brakes. Obviously, as I said in the last episode, it's a safety item. I really want to make sure they are as good as can be. I don't think that'll take a lot of doing, just change a few parts, clean a few other bits up. But my main task is going to be sorting out all the surface corrosion, etc. So that is what I'm going to crack on with now. So I've got those brakes all freed off, and to be fair, when I was looking at the brakes, I don't think they were very old before this car was laid up. There's absolutely no lip on the disc. The pads are really good. Clearly they've got surface corrosion where they've just been sat around. So for now, I've freed everything off, made sure everything turns freely. The car is only being moved around the yard at the moment, so those brakes are fine for that. I'm debating whether to put brand new discs and pads in it anyway. I probably will, but at the moment this will do. The other thing I've done in the arches here is cleaned everything up. All the surface rust has been taken back, and I've put some rust converter on it for now just to make sure everything's as good as can be. But the reason it's off the ramp now and on axle stands is so I can get better access to this lower bulkhead, which, as I pointed out before, is a little bit crispy just around here. Now where the two-post lift pads go, it's kind of in the way, it obstructs what I'm trying to do here. So I've got it on these axle stands while I sort this out. Shouldn't take me very long, but it's definitely something I want to tackle now. So that is the next step. Okay, so I'm done clearing up the offside lower bulkhead, and I'm pleased to report that was mostly surface rust. You can see just in behind the side skirt and everything is all absolutely fine. This has all been ground back, but it's going to get some converter on it shortly. The only little bit of welding I've got to do is there's these two plug holes. I've got the rubber bungs for those, but you can see there's some penetrative rust that's gone through there, so I'm just going to weld those up, leaving these two big holes obviously, weld up these little ones. And then everything's going to be protected and chipped, and then I'll clean up the other side, make sure there's nothing there, but again it'll be protection and then chipping. So that should be the problem area sorted. As I say, I thought there was going to be something behind the body kit here, but at the moment it's just surface rust, so pretty happy with all of that. Glad to see it. It just needs a bit of a brush down and converter. So then guys, that is it. That little bit of rust has been sorted underneath the MG. I'm very pleased there wasn't a whole lot of it, so just a bit of tidying up to do. It's now ordered Hydrate 80 rust converter applied, and then when that's dried, I've put a stone chip on there as you've seen, so there shouldn't be any more corrosion issues from those areas for a long time now. The car is still like this because all that stone chip is still drying, and I want it all to dry thoroughly before I put the wheels back on. Now the brakes, as I said, I'm leaving them as they are. They've all been freed off. The car runs around absolutely fine now with no brake binding or anything. I think I probably will go ahead and order those new discs and pads, but for now the car can stay like this. One more thing before I sign off this episode though, I have to make a bit of a retraction. Last time, you'll remember, I said I bought this car with no service history, and the previous owner said, oh, that'll follow, and I sort of sarcastically said I'm not going to hold my breath. Well, I do owe that guy an apology because he has come through with the goods. He has got the invoices for the car's life since he's had it, and he's spent quite a bit of money on this thing seemingly. Always with the same garage, which is nice to see. Anyway, he supplied me with that service history. You'll have to forgive the random bits of blue roll I've got here. I'm just trying to hide the previous owner's name and address. That there is also the invoice for when I bought this car. As you can see, I bought it on the 6th of October for £200. Again, I'm just omitting the previous owner's details there. But fair play to the guy, really top bloke. He's come through with the goods like he said he would. So we've got some service history with this car now. Unfortunately, I can't see any head gasket work in that invoice system there. So still gonna have to go and do the head gasket, but it's not a problem. I'd like to have that done myself anyway, just to know that it's had the upgrade kit fitted. Anyway guys, that's enough waffle. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.